Peace, peace, peace. Mind Ascension here. Peace to my 6 to 22 strand, 7 to 9 ether, melanin, selenium-based black gods of this planet. I'm here with my usual student, the lost found student. You know what I'm saying?
What's up, y'all? How y'all?
And we were just building a little bit, you know what I'm saying? We were just building in the shop. So I said, you know what, let's take this opportunity since I got my brother now. As y'all know, Mind Ascension by now, you know, I like to do dialogues. I like to do exchanges. I don't like to necessarily be looking at the camera by myself,
Facts.
Yelling about what I feel or what I think. I'm way past that human ego need to show or express so many things that are on a human level. So it's always good to have a brother who can ask me questions or can bring up a subject that I could tap in my subconscious with, and we can have an exchange, have a dialogue, and we could build from there.
Right.
I don't know if you want to reiterate or if you want to bring back up what we was discussing.
Okay, yeah.
We got out here.
While we was in the barbershop, we was talking about like white folks' version of their connection to nature.
Yes, nature and spirituality.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get right into it. First of all, the way we got there is we was actually talking about other so-called conscious dudes who were displaying certain behaviors and acts that are related to European dysfunction. And Europeans seem to have this thing about equating connections to nature or connections to spirit with having to do physical things. One example I used in there was the ecosexual aspect that some of y'all might be aware of that Europeans participate in, where instead of becoming one with nature and the earth through having a soul and through provoking the spirit of both the organism and yourself as a reflective organism to create a conducive or resonance, Europeans feel that the only way to do that is to actually try to fuck the earth. So they will have ecosexual rituals, ecosexual events and environments where they go out into the woods, they go out into grasslands and so on and so forth, and they start trying to hump the dirt, and they're licking trees and they're kissing things and blah, blah, blah. Now, I use this as an example to show that some time ago, let me use one more example. Some time ago, maybe about 5 years now, 4 or 5 years, there was a meme circulating around IG of a white woman who climbed into the dead body of a horse.
Crazy.
And did you see it?
Nah, I didn't see it.
Never saw it? I have it on my
old
old page. So basically, when they asked her why did she do that, she said because she wanted to become one with nature. She said she wanted to become one with the horse. So in her European dysfunction, glandular disturbed, disordered mind, in her eyes, getting closer to the horse or getting closer to nature meant climbing into the bowels of the horse.
It's crazy.
Even though the horse was bloody, dead, it got into the bowels of the horse butt naked, and in its own mind felt that that was creating a connection spiritually and naturally between her and that dead animal. So we have to understand that the European is missing a link part of itself, which is really the soul.
Right.
The spirit and the soul are two different things. The spirit is what animates anything in existence, whether it's the vibratory aspect of a rock or whether it's the animation of a certain organism, but everything has a spirit. So there's nothing necessarily void of spirit that is organic to this third dimensional realm. But everything doesn't have a soul. A soul is a portion of a cosmic source of existence that travels with you and uses your vessel as a form of vehicle, and you constantly are reusing, reincarnating all the time. It's almost like you as yourself from the age you were 16 to get your driver's license and all the different cars you had from 16 till today. Maybe your first car was a 1989 Gremlin, and now today you driving a Bugatti. You dig what I'm saying? But either way, the car is nothing but a vehicle or a form of vessel that you travel in. So the spirit is in everything. White people have a spirit, but the soul is not in everything, and the soul is not of everyone. Also, I want to get into something else, which is going a little bit off topic, but some of us have what they call avatars here, which is like projected vessels onto this third dimensional plane, almost like a holographic effect, but are void of soul, but they are black people. And to put this in a way, we put it in a way like this. Your avatar is the projection of your surface or persona of self that a low-level energy can see on the surface.
Right.
You project that avatar, but your consciousness is projected with it, but your soul is somewhere else. So that's what, when you hear the term avatar, that's what they're talking about. Okay. I have to use that term for lack of another one. But I just want to bring all this together. Now, understand that the so-called European, the true European, the two-strand European, the sulfur-based European, the pheomelon European does not have a soul. The European only has a spirit. The closest they can get, and I believe this, and I'll have to use the word belief because I can't necessarily prove it, but I believe that there's also white people with 6 ether vessels that possess a so-called black spirit. And when I say black spirit, I'm not referring to soul, but I'm talking about the animative factor and energy that comes from a melanin encasing. So let me try to, I always want to put things simplistic. I'll put it to you like this. I can take the purest mountain water and I can put it in a garbage can. That mountain water, which was at its pure state, is now contaminated with the things within the garbage can. Or I could take trash water or mud water, put it through a filtration system, and I can encase it in a quartz crystal bottle for months to years and then drink the water. So basically what I'm saying is the black spirit, which has been encased within a melanin vessel for either centuries, millenniums, generations, whatever you want to call it, absorbs the aspect, the persona, characteristics, mannerisms of those melanin encased vessels, and then incarnates itself into a white vessel, still holding the remnants, the memory of those things. And remember, the soul is related to the feminine, which is also related to the water, which also means it never forgets. So your soul is accumulating time frames, memories, experiences, and so-called lifetimes, or whatever way we want to say it. So, since the white person does not possess this per se, they think in their mind the way that they connect to nature is by physically fucking nature, physically laying, hugging nature, physically kissing nature. Because remember, they associate love with the universal energy that they think is connected to soul. And on a physical plane, to express love is to be affectionate physically. So in their warped mind, to love the earth, to be spiritual, means you gotta lick a tree, means you gotta tongue kiss a rock, all right? And some of y'all seen this with your own eyes. And they'll look at you like you're crazy for looking at them like they crazy from licking the ground and sticking their penis in a tailpipe. Excuse me, that's something else that they do. But sticking their penis in a hole in the ground or something like that. Trying to have eco-sexual relations so they can feel more connected, more spiritual to something they do not have to do that with. The same way with them loving animals to such a level of existence to where it's beyond the human, to where they will come to Puerto Rico to save the dog, but will leave the destitute humans behind. Right. So we have to understand this inability to have a soul which carries lifetimes and memories with it, and that dictates your experience and your connection to things that are nature, all, or cosmic source. So you can look at the sun, moon, stars and have a connection to it and not have to get into a spaceship to go see if it's real. They ain't gotta do that. You can connect to celestial bodies. You can connect to spirits and divine energies around you without having to get a machine that detects the electromagnetic energy to prove that it's there. White people need to do that. And if they don't do that, they will forever be disconnected or forever never believe anything exists. That's why they're always inventing new instruments to try to prove to themselves what they can't understand. While me and you can look at a lion, tiger, anything within its own environment, study it, observe it purely with the God eye and not human eyes, not saying, damn, that tiger's fur would look real good on my back. Oh, damn, that tiger looked like it would make a great burger. No, you looking at the animal as an expression of the all. And as someone that holds the equilibrium of the planet. Your largest animals and your most powerful animals, if you notice, they only eat from the earth. Also, when you eat from the earth, you're making a connection to the earth, which makes you part of the equilibrium of the earth. So these rhinoceros, these elephants, these whales, all these different forms of animals that are majority vegetation and diet are actually the equilibrium centers of the planet. So when we kill them off, when we do all these different things, we're upsetting the magnetic field, the spirit, and the soul of the Mother Earth, which gets us a lot of cataclysms and a lot of other things, which I'm not going to go into. But my main point was to explain that when a white person wants to feel a connection to something, they must do something sexual, they must do something physically affectionate, they must do something physical, because the physical is the only thing they can understand. That's why they must get aggressive and violent. That's why they must get aggressive and genocidal, because the physical is all they understand. Meanwhile, you're under attack in Haiti, and you combine the metaphysical with the physical and become one of the first free points of land or colonized places out of all of them for what, 50 to 100 years? Because you took the metaphysical and you took the physical and you combined it against this one physical being, which is the European, and can't understand anything outside of us. So here's the funny part. Remember, the European banned the drum during the time of your slavery. But see, if the European actually had a soul, they wouldn't ban the drum in fear of you tapping into it. They would master tapping into the drum themselves. And while you're picking up the signals from the drum, they would be picking up the same information and they would be able to deflect you. But since they can't pick up that information, they must completely obliterate it and make it against the law and ban it. So I don't think I need to say more, but yeah. When a European who is void of a certain level of soul, which is connected to spirit, earth, and universal principles and perspectives, they can never see things, hear things, or feel things the way they should by nature all. So therefore, they must do things conducive to their own dysfunctional body that makes them feel connected to it. Right. So now they got to tongue kiss their dogs. I don't know why you got to, but now you got to tongue kiss your dog. Now you got to take a bath with your dog. Now you're going to have sex with your dog because you love that dog so much, you think the only way to connect to it is physically. Because anything that's physical is real to a European. Anything that can't do this, that you can't hurt it, that you can't break it, that you can't fuck it, it ain't real. So I've noticed that without being aware, because I don't think many of us are aware, we adopt this and we go, well, sex is natural and naked body is natural. And now you're some conscious guru somewhere letting your child swing on your penis or having sex in front of your child because sex is natural. See, this is how the European thinks. The European will take something that's natural and in balance as who we are, and they will distort it based on the fact that it started natural. So because dirt is from the earth, now I can eat the dirt. Because this came out of the ground, it must be good for me in this way. But wait a second. Yes, the coca leaf came out the ground. Right. But nobody told you to add acetone and all this shit. So yeah, you're right. The coca leaf came from the earth. Yeah. But when you added all your European bullshit, now it's crack and cocaine. Right. So we must be careful, and this is what I get into with these Moors. Stop telling me you gave them all of this shit and then going to walk around and act like the shit you gave them is still the same shit from the time that you taught them it. Because I can buy a brand new couch. Once I give it to a crack house and come back in a year, is that couch at the same quality and the same resonance it was when I gave it to them? No, it's not. So don't tell me you gave them science, knowledge, and understanding, right, and then you're gonna take back after centuries of them distorting it and use it the way it is. Right. If you're gonna use it, put it back in its original place. Right. So put blackness back to its primordial existence. Put blackness back to its highest nobility. Put blackness back to its resurrective quality. Because that's what your most ancient ancestors said, not what 1891 or 1889 Black's Law Dictionary says. That's not intelligent. That's surface shit. And that's ideology and that's ego, because I want everything to say to fit into my box of teaching. But if y'all know mine ascension, I'm a crazy motherfucker. So I'll teach you one thing, teach another thing, and even if you come to me with some type of information, a fact, I will take into consideration because I want to expand beyond that subject anyway.
Right.
Because my entire purpose is activation and expansion. And you don't get to expand getting stuck in a dictionary, getting stuck in a religion, getting stuck in an ideology, getting stuck in a way of thinking. I'll add on this. A lot of us will go, well, our ancestors did this, and we need to follow our ancestors. Yes, you're damn right. You follow your ancestors, but remember what your ancestors left behind is only a template. It is not a locked into law thing that if you don't follow that way, you're doing something wrong. It is a template to give you a guide in a direction to build upon it, to expand beyond it. So when we look at certain ancestral traditions and beliefs, they are not left behind on a higher level of thinking. Now, if you're just a regular ass human, then every generation gonna copy every generation, and we're gonna be doing the same shit. Which, by the way, sounds like us now. We still marching, we still protesting, we still talking about black economics, we still talking about we need unity. Is that shit any different from the 60s and 50s?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. But when I come along with my crazy ass and start talking about fuck unity, I want divinity. Start talking about fuck equality, I want complementary energy. Start talking about the black woman is my God and is superior to me, and I know that, and what makes me superior is that I come from her, and she deems me and validates me as her protector, which makes me even higher on the scale. And on top of that, if I have more than one woman, I'm even more higher on the scale of divinity. Get over it. But the fact of the matter is, we are all stuck in different forms of ideology while simultaneously basking and being conditioned by the mind of someone who's not even connected to nature, who's not even connected to universe. So being that they're not connected to it, you think everything you do has to have a physical, logical perspective, period. And anything outside of that is irrelevant and doesn't count. Or you call pseudo, which is more Greek bullshit. All Greek, all Latin. It's not your shit. Don't get me wrong. I could go into the 5 Latin languages that the Moors taught. I could go into all that shit. But guess what, motherfucker? If it's not being used the way you taught it to be used, it's not the same shit no more. If you sell me a hammer, explain to me what a hammer does, and then I bash you on the side of the head, I'm not using it the way it's supposed to be used.
Facts.
So let's get out of this. We taught them. Yes, we did. And they took the shit and fucked it up.
Yeah.
And now they're using it against you, fucking you up.
Yep.
And now you want to take the same fucked up shit and keep using it.
Yeah.
That don't make sense. You need to redefine yourself. You need to recalibrate the equations given to you. You need to put things back in an order which it was in the first place and be open to the changes that might expand that order or might expand that thinking and ideology outside of the Israelite box you're in, Moorish box you're in, Kemet box you're in, RBG box you're in, Rasta box you're in, whatever box you got, understand that there's a limitation because your ideology has a stopping point. Every one of your ideologies have a stopping point. So if it has a stopping point, that means it's a box. Some boxes are like this, some boxes are like this, but a box is a box. Every day I'm looking to expand what I think I know or what I feel I know to go beyond the limit or the level that I'm at right now. And this is why I seem crazier every day. Because the more I step out of the box that was created for me to live in, the crazier I look to people who live inside the box.
Facts.
Where we at? What's the time looking like?
We at 19.
All right, so we got like 10 minutes and we're going to shut it down.
All right.
Throw something else at me, brother.
No, but I want to elaborate. You was correct. We give them things and they take it and they change
fuck
it.
it up. They fuck it up.
For instance, like gunpowder. And now they made guns. Now they made weapons, you know?
Well, let's do it a recent one. Veganism.
Okay.
Now that, first of all, veganism was a market created by Europeans in the first place.
Okay.
From 1940 to 1950, a white man named Donald Watson, who was part of a vegetarian society in Europe, broke away from other vegetarians because his side of vegetarians love animals so much they didn't want to wear leather, they didn't want to wear suede, they didn't want to drink milk, they didn't want to blah, blah, blah. And this gave birth to what you call now veganism, which came to America, got marketed, and then created this new market that we see today, which, by the way, every single day that veganism becomes more popular, is going to become more deadly. Listen to Mind Ascension's crazy ass. I think I even said this a few years back, as a matter of fact, but the more popular veganism becomes, the more vegan chicken from KFC you can get. The more vegan Whopper from Burger King you can get. The more vegan McMuffin from Dunkin' Donuts or whatever the hell that breakfast sandwich was. My Polari was telling me the other day, it's a great sandwich and it's not even meat, it's great. Like, listen, I get it, but they got it first.
Yeah.
So because they got it first and they already anticipated this wave of consciousness and health movement, they must impede and they must invade it to infect it to make sure the cycle of death and disease continues. Because now you're not getting cancer from your meats. Now you're getting something else you can't explain from the soy and from the other names of shit that I can't even pronounce. I even did something on my page a while ago. I don't remember the name, but there's a specific name of some chemical that's in majority of vegan products. So anything that's mass marketed by these goddamn creatures, trust and believe, 99.9999999, the motherfucker is there to destroy you, okay?
Facts.
So the more they come out with vegan McNuggets, the more they come out with all that shit, listen, I'd rather your ass eat real chicken wings.
Yeah.
All right? Because I don't trust none of this shit. I don't trust the weed they coming out with now. I don't trust nothing they coming out with now. And if we become honest enough in ourselves, because a lot of us can't admit the reactions and the results we get when we participate in certain things. And listen, Mind Ascension, his ego is microscopic. And remember, I don't live in a religion. So even though the large majority of my diet, 80%, maybe about 95%, to be honest with you, and 90 to 95% of my diet is vegetation or plant-based, every once in a while, I'll still take my woman to a hibachi grill and have fresh seafood or something. Like, it's about moderation. But the reason why I'm saying this is because when we practice moderation and participate in certain things, we can actually calibrate and compare the damage it's doing. Because one time I remember I went to Applebee's a long time ago for something that didn't have anything to do with my consciousness, but I was trying to appease family members and stuff. Anyway, it was a social thing. And I said, let me try a little shrimp. I took one bite of that shrimp and all I tasted was metallic metal.
Oh, wow.
But why? Because my taste buds have enhanced to such an extent from eating pure plant-based food that I can literally taste the carcinogens and all the different chemicals in that shrimp that was pre-packaged, pre-cooked, processed shrimp served in a public commercial restaurant. But see, the average human can't taste that. The same way some of y'all know that been drinking clean water for years. You go sit down in a restaurant, ask them to bring you a glass of water. That water tastes like a fucking cup of nickels. It tastes like a cup of dirty pennies. But everybody around you is drinking the water and they can't taste it. Because you have reprogrammed, recalibrated your entire body to the way that your biochemistry now has changed. So which means that your taste buds has changed, which means that your sensory system has changed, which also means the way you evacuate your bowels and yourself has changed. Let's keep it real. I know a lot of us get uncomfortable with this shit, but that's human shit. If your ass has been plant-based for over 2 years or so, you know your shit don't stink like other motherfuckers. Let's just be real. We don't like to talk about it, but it's the fucking truth. I have been 80% plant-based for over 10 years. My shit don't stink. And I'm not saying that as a holier than thou. I'm saying that if everything you put in your body is directly of a plant and an earth, remember, all your body's doing is processing what you put in it. The problem is you're already putting pre-processed shit in your body to reprocess.
Right.
So it comes out stank, nasty, da-da-da-da. But if I'm putting something raw in my body that's never been processed and allow my own body to process it, guess what? What's coming out the other end is just a whole bunch of shit that was drumbled up in my body that's nothing but bell peppers, eggplant, you see, wild rice, I'm naming shit I ate last night. You know what I'm saying? And it's all crumbled up in your stomach and it comes out the other end. Right. But if you eating dead flesh, fucked up sodas, all type of dye liquids, you goddamn right your shit gonna smell like a dead body. And who taught you that everybody should stink? Who taught you that? Who taught you everybody got bad breath? Everybody should stink. Everybody underarm stink. I haven't used deodorant in maybe 8 to 10 years. Man, I don't wear deodorant.
That's good.
Haven't worn deodorant. I couldn't tell you last time I bought a speed stick or any of that shit. I was ignorant as fuck when I was buying it, whatever the fuck. So, but my point of the matter is, everything has a cause and effect. What you put in your body will affect and change the results of what comes out of it, and how it comes out, the frequency and the vibratory effect that comes out. And I'm talking about everything, your blood, your urine, your feces, your sweat. I remember when I was still a flesh eater, my sweat was so greasy. It was greasy. Now, if I do sweat, which is very rare, and I'm not even gonna talk about what I'm doing when I'm sweating, but it's very rare. It's very rare, but when I do sweat, it's like pure water. It just drops right down. It's pure water. Right. When I used to sweat when I was a flesh eater, majority, it wouldn't even drop. It would just kind of like slide, like grease, because there was so many toxins in my body. But I'm not advocating all of that bullshit, because you know my ascension, nutrition is bullshit to me. Because I understand that everything we need is already in our body waiting to be activated by either your mind or the elements. Because even, why do you think every time I do something, I try to be outside? It's cold as fuck right now. But I said, nigga, let's come outside. Let me get in this raw shine. Let me breathe in shoe. You know what I mean? Let me put my feet on the earth. Again, you see? So the combination of understanding how the elements work, as well as outside and inside my body, because remember, inside your body is the only place that the elements can exist simultaneously within balance. Because in your body, you are fire, earth, water, and air as well. Your respiratory system, your reproductive system, your entire body is made out of water, all right? So you have elements in your body 24/7 that are reacting to each other and that are activating certain things within you that you don't need something outside of you to do. Right. So when I'm eating an apple, and I truly believe that an apple is gonna give me something, the apple is not necessarily giving me anything. The apple is actually activating the vitamin that's already in my body that the apple is matching. So when I say, oh, this orange is gonna give me vitamin C, I eat the orange, but I activate the vitamin C that's already in my body. Your body is already filled with certain minerals and metals. Your body's already filled with calcium. Your body's already filled with potassium. Your body already has that in it. Right. Now, don't get me wrong. There's people who are deficient in it, but why are you deficient in it? You know, who was your mama? Who was you gestated? Whose womb was you gestated in? Because it really starts there. Because you want to talk how, oh, well, people are lactose and people are this. And first of all, we all lactose. I'm just using that. But people are this, people are that. How you explain that? How you explain this? Hello? The 9 months you were being fashioned in the womb, what is your mother doing? What is she thinking? What is she drinking? What is she smoking? What is she eating? All of that stuff comes into play with what makes up your physical body when you emerge from the womb. And then after that, whose habits are you carrying on? Right. From day 1 to day 25 years old, 30 years old, 35, whatever the fuck it is. So the bottom line is, everything is simplistic when you're dealing with the source. When you're dealing with the furthest foundation of where you can come from with things, there's nowhere left to go but up. Now that up, I'm using a term that people are familiar, but we're really talking about one direction of expansion and of reaching higher levels instead of being stuck in one way of thinking to where you can't see things beyond that don't agree with you and that don't make you feel good. A lot of us, we want to hear things that make us feel good all the fucking time, especially women. And as soon as it don't make us feel good, we want to shut it off. We want to reject it. But we don't understand that change and expansion comes from the discomfort of your state, not for adding comfort to your state. See, I make the criminal comfortable in jail when I give him a TV, I give him an extra mattress. Now you a comfortable Negro. Now you'll stay there happily. As a matter of fact, I'll use you to keep the other niggas in line. Because you're comfortable now. But if I got you sleeping on an iron mattress without no mattress, if I got you, you know, only eating once a day and it's what I choose to give you, which is leftovers of some shit I threw away, you're gonna become so discomfort, you might start a revolution. You might overthrow the whole jail because you've been forced into a state to change your situation. And this is why they make our women as comfortable as they possibly can. You could do anything, you could say anything, you could dress anyway, you could talk anyway, you could fight anybody. Just don't fuck with white people. But you could do anything you want. You don't need a man, you don't need a friend, you don't need this, you don't need that, you don't need that, anything you want to do. You want to be a hoe, be a hoe. You want to be a powerful, strong, career-driven, be powerful, strong, career-driven. You want to twerk all day, twerk all day. You want to smoke all day, smoke all day. There's no criteria and no standard for you. But there's every criteria and every standard for my black ass.
Facts.
Be respectful. Don't put your hands on a woman. Don't you know how to act like a man? Better be a provider. Where's your good job? Get an education. Yeah. Every time I turn around, I have something new that I need to learn how to do for you.
Right.
But you don't have nothing that you have to respect about me. Yeah. Never heard a mother telling their daughter, listen, respect a man's word. I've heard 1 billion times, never touch a woman, never da-da-da, respect a girl, don't do that to a girl, and then turn around and confuse the fuck out of your child saying that we all equal. How the hell does that make sense? How you gonna tell me we all equal, but then give me the entire list of criteria what to do for only girls? Y'all not catching this? Use intelligence. Where we at?
30. Like 30 on the spot, yeah.
All right, now it probably went on and off, but if it didn't, Mind Ascension, I'm out. Love y'all to death. 6 to 22 strands, 7 to 9 ether, you melon, selenium-based black gods of this planet. Know what the fuck you are. Allow it to be activated. Don't allow anything to stop you from moving forward from any stage or level you're at, and don't become comfortable at any level or stage you at. You are here to experience every fucking thing and move on from this dimension to the next. So if you're stopping yourself from experiencing something, you might be stopping yourself from a lesson you didn't know you're here to experience. And if you stop yourself from that lesson, you're gonna repeat this shit like a super senior, like a retarded child, like a special ed kid, because you're refusing to see the lesson that you're supposed to master and move on to the next existence. I'm out.
All right. Oh, wait, hold on.